Okay, it actually created this and then it crashed. All right, so I'm going to test the equals of our single card. Okay, so I want just make sure I've got what I think I have. All right, so I've created the ace of spades. And let's create another ace of spades. Why? Because I can do it. And let's print this, and then let's also print. Oops. Thank you. Now watch, this is going to prove me wrong. I should have. All right, so now you know the format. If I just sort of click on an empty space and just say right-click format, it formats it for me. So now I run them, and I have two ace of spades, and I said, are they equal? And it says no. But they really should be, right? So how can I make them to behave the way I want them to? I override equals. So now here's the book talks about a little gotcha on this. The equals has to have signature object, and that's because it kind of goes back to the early days before they had things called generics, but we'll talk about that at another time. The NetBeans nicely suggests that we add the override tag as we did with toString. Again, that's not required, but it's something you want to do because it's user friendly. All right, now let's here, you know, there are all kinds of, because the argument is object, there are all kinds of things that can go wrong. So the first thing to go wrong is, what about null? I remember I said something equals null has to be false. So let me let's just say, okay, let's start with saying, okay, I'm going to assume that it's going to be true, right? But if the other equals null, now, and that equals, oops, null, that's okay because there, in a sense, there's only one null thing. I mean, null is, if it's equal to null, then I'll set this to be false. Okay, else. Okay, what else can go wrong? Well, it could be in the wrong, well, oops, let's see, if. The other thing is it could be in the wrong class. Now, another useful method is get class, so that returns the class of the thing. And so if I've tried to compare apples and oranges, then there's no hope of this. Okay, what else can go wrong? Well, now if I make it to here, then Or, and I could also use instance of instead of get class, but I usually prefer get class. All right, so now here's another come on. Okay, so now at this point I can cast the other to a single card safely because I know that it's, come on, I know that it's a single card. And so now if the suit, why aren't you giving me this? It's not other card, get suit. I don't know why it's not. Okay, so now what I'm saying is, and there are different ways of doing this, but all right, so if I make it to here, I'm not null, and I'm of the same class, and if my suit doesn't match and my value doesn't match, then I don't match, but if I make it to here, then they do match. Okay, so now if we go back to here, if we go back to here, this is still false, but this is true. Okay, so they're different objects, but I want to treat them as being the same, and so I do this. Okay, do you see that? Now there's one thing that I'm missing, and I only have 10 seconds to do it, and fortunately, NetBeans will do that for me, because it's suggesting generate missing hash code, and it says generate missing hash code, and it says what do I want to include in that? I want to include the suit and the value, and if I generate that, then it actually creates a hash code for me, which is pretty cool. So now I have an equals, which is consistent with hash codes. You notice that what it does is it creates the hash code based upon the suit and the value. So if I have two different objects, they have the same suit, the same value, they have the same hash codes. If I have two different single cards, they have the same suit, the same value, they are equal. Equals comes up true. And so again, this this is sort of this now, because if I have a consistent with equals, now these are all true. So they're equals and the hash codes are the same. So this is how this would be one little fix that we had to our cards. So there are a few more things we're going to be doing with them starting tomorrow, and I will see you then. So I ended 5 minutes early yesterday, so